LaFaye Benton is a local rock soul singer and songwriter with the live band LaFaye and the Fellas. She wants to make the world dance with her music. Today, I talk one-on-one with LaFaye for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. LaFaye Benton, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You know, you are an Army veteran. We thank you for your service, by the way.
Yeah,
you also obviously are a singer, songwriter with the live band LaFaye and the Fellas, rock and soul, obviously. You also have prodigious designs, and you are an interior designer, which I didn't know about.
Yes, I am. All those things.
All those things. So who is LaFaye Benton these days?
Who is LaFaye? Let's see, what's the less long way to describe myself? I don't know. I am a lover of life, a lover of all things. I love people. Yeah. I love meeting people. Yeah. I love trying new things, experiencing new things. Obviously, all the things that you mentioned are also things that I love. Obviously, music is like the core of everything that I do. Prodigious Designs. It is my event planning and interior design company. I also have, you didn't mention, I don't think you know it, but I have a hat line that I recently just started also. I'm a big lover of hats. I always have loved brims. Yes. So I started that earlier this year and looking to launch it the first of 2023. So we'll see. But all things, I love life. I love people. I love, to have a good time. When you see me, you see my teeth first. Most people know that. I'm always smiling. I always, not really taking much serious, but making sure that everybody else is having a good time. That's always me.
But then, LaFaye, let me ask you, how are people taking you serious with your music and all the entrepreneurial things that are going on in your life right now?
So the people that know me know that I'm a very passionate person, probably over passionate. When it comes to my band, I tell everybody it's never just about me. It's a brand for me. I stress that it's never my band. It's never my songs. It's never my show. It's ours. For the guys that are behind me and that support me, they know that it's never every man for himself type of thing. We don't do that over here. Like, I make sure to even tell at my shows, when I talk to the people in the audience, we're a family. Yes. Y'all tell y'all cousins that you ain't never met before. Hey, like we're a big old family, and they take me serious because they see. I think it's because they see the passion that I give towards the things that I care about, such as my band, such as my company, such as just how I carry myself in general. I try to do a good job, at how my parents and grandparents raised me. Obviously, try to put that out into the world, and even to everything that I work towards or work with or try to do. I try to just put passion into everything. And I think for that's why a lot of people respect the grind and the hustle behind everything that I do.
And when did you put music into the world?
When, I kind of didn't have a choice, actually. My daddy is a pastor, honey. So I did not have a choice when it came to singing. Obviously me and my sister, we were in the choir. Our stepmom at the time growing up, she would play the drums and sing. So it would be me, her, and my sister singing. We would be singing. We praise and worship for church. And it went from there to obviously growing up, I did a lot of putting on productions and plays and shows in the cities. And that's another thing I didn't tell you about. We'll get to that one in a minute. But I did a lot of that growing up. And then I joined the Army. Went in as one thing, reclassed to another thing, and the other thing that I reclassed to was a vocalist. So I just got to travel and sing to people while in uniform while serving the country, and it worked out. It worked out for me that way. But that's how I got the music. It was kind of not a choice.
So who was LaFaye growing up?
Growing up, I pretty much have always been this way. All teeth, all smiles, all the time. I've always been an outgoing kid. I was never a shy person. Pretty much just, never meeting a stranger. even like I said, growing up, like I had to do a lot of things in the church, in the community. Like my dad made sure to put me forefront that way, when it came to being a confident being as an adult now, which I have him to thank for that. When it comes to being in front of people, like people always ask you, are you shy? No, not at all. I don't think there is a shy bone in my body because I was, raised and put out in front of people to speak. And when you speak boldly and speak confident and in what you're saying, understand what you're saying first before you put it out into, the atmosphere to the people, and make sure that what you're saying is making sense also. Yeah. So it's always been all teeth and never mean a stranger for me. I've pretty much been this way as long as I can remember.
And how exactly are you speaking boldly through your music?
Through the music. So I love this wave that I'm on now, which I like to call rock soul. Obviously it's not something that I invented. I know a few artists that have pretty much taken on that genre and kind of like trying to do something with it. But what I can say is there's not a lot of people, that are in my generation that are putting music out today that sound like the sound that I'm trying to provide. And so I want to be able to take the whole rock soul thing and pretty much my goal is just to make music that is relatable to all ages, to, down to my goddaughter who's 4 years old, all the way up to my great grandma, who's over 80 years old. So I want to be able to create and to give and to put out relatable music. I want to be able to make feel good music for people to just genuinely enjoy and to make timeless music that can get played on the radio for years to come, and when you hear it, it's something that you would just genuinely enjoy and have a good time to. So that's my goal. That is my goal for sure.
And before you became obviously a music artist, what was that relatable music that you related to growing up?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I've always enjoyed music that was older than me. Like obviously growing up, how when your parents, that Saturday morning, it's time, you hear that music, it's time to get up and clean up. But I mean, between my mom she listened to Anita Baker, she listened to Karen White, she listened to Tony Braxton, Babyface, all of the people obviously that were born before me. You have my stepmama who listened to, people like Whitney Houston and Lisa and Nicole Jam and Prince and people that were way before me. So it gave me, I was able to just be surrounded by a plethora of genres that was able to kind of broaden my horizon when it came to music. Because between the R&B and the soul, I had church also, which was my upbringing. So it was just I couldn't get away from it if I tried.
Wow. And Miss LaFaye, let me ask you, when it comes to the music business, who are you surrounding yourself with right now?
Who am I surrounding myself with? I am very particular about who's around me now. My prayer's always been, God, if the people that are around me are not going to go with me to my next level or to the next journey, remove them out of my path, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much, how hard it'll be to have them no longer in my life. If that's what I need to be a better me or to become the better artist or performer, whatever it is that I'm trying to do, it just has to be that. So I like to surround myself with like-minded people that are passionate, people that don't mind, the hustle, people that aren't looking for somebody to hand them something, people that don't mind being told like, hey, you didn't do this right, or you could have done it a different way, taking constructive criticism or being told that the way you said something or did something was wrong. Like I can appreciate the people who are passionate just as much as I am when it comes to, being told no or being told that you can't do something. So I surround myself with like-minded individuals, people that are business-minded, people that also enjoy having a good time. But when it comes down to the business, when it comes down to the business, mainly just getting it done. So like-minded individuals.
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. LaFaye. What more have you learned about the business side of music that you didn't know before becoming a music artist?
Oh, so much. And I have a lot of my friends from my hometown in Atlanta to thank for that. One of my good friends, LaKaya, who now she just recently started working for Motown. Another my good friend, one of my good friends, she goes by the name of Bree. They just, when I needed or had questions to ask when it came to the music industry in general, they were able to answer that. Something as simple as, knowing what to do when I needed to upload my song to all music platforms, or when it comes to branding myself as an artist, what do y'all suggest that I do when it comes to the industry side? Because obviously I've had the live music side down pat for a while. So it's always good to have, it was so good to have those people that work in industries that to tell you stuff like, look out for these type of people. Just because you look good and you sound a certain kind of way, that's what they want. But make sure that you're not falling into that. Make sure that you're not falling into that trap of what everybody else is doing. Because, not to put it on the guys, but, guys in the industry, they see a good looking girl or whomever it is, or vice versa. Women see a good looking guy and feel like, okay, he's got it. But I also know what I feel like I can do with them personally. So understanding that everything, and sometimes it's catch-22. Like, that's what those people do. But I know for me, the passion in me won't allow me to be that person. So just having a mind to see those things, like, to notice, like, everybody, just because they have the title and they have the name and they have the accolades and they have the whatever, like, everybody just might not be right for you, which in turn leaves it up to you to do your research, to ask the questions, to have like-minded individuals and people in your corner, like my friend LaKaya or like Bree, who offer those type of suggestions. And there's plenty more friends. I have plenty more friends that have been putting out music for years, and have had very successful, independent artist careers. And I just ask questions, honey. When I don't know it, I'm like, how did you do that? I don't have a problem asking questions, because I want to know when I do get to that level of, my music is played all over the world. Yeah. I want to make sure that I know, and too, that I'm getting all my money. Yeah. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything the right way, or as right as I know how.
And Ms. LaFaye, let me ask you, you said something very interesting, but let me ask you, what was a certain way that the music industry wanted you to sing in the beginning?
I think I actually don't, like, because I haven't had like an actual contract. I'm not contracted to anybody, so that I pretty much have not had to deal with as of yet. But I feel like, because it's such a normal thing, that it would be, the neo soul and the F these men and these men ain't this and that, like that type of way. And which I'm not trying to be on. Like, I got 6 brothers for one. I mean, obviously everybody goes through that thing. So my wave is never to bash the man, never to bash the woman. However, I like to be able to tell stories through my music. So whenever or whomever it is that decides to sign me, I would like for hopefully to be able to have the opportunity to share my stories and, to share my own situations through my music, which neo soul and soul will probably come. But if I could get it through the way that I want to, which is through rock soul, I would absolutely, definitely prefer that. So hopefully I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, thank God. You're exactly right. So who is your target audience?
My target audience? You know what? At one point in time, I thought I had one. But to a certain extent, I don't feel like I have one. Because like I mentioned earlier, I want my music to be able to reach and to relate to everybody. So it's not a black thing for me. It's not a white thing. It's not a teenage thing, because my very first single, Flaws and All, I mean, it's been teenage girls that have reached out to me and told me how the song has encouraged them. It's been my older cousins who told me, my younger cousins. It's been people, random females that I've met that have kind of inboxed me like, hey, this song is very powerful and it's definitely helped me through certain situations. So for me, I don't feel like I want to limit myself on a target audience per se, not an age, not a color, not a background. I just want to be able to reach the people. Honestly, that's my answer for that one.
And Ms. LaFaye, let me ask you, what one of your songs thus far is basically describes you the best?
Describes me the best is probably my very first single, Flaws and All. And believe it or not, with it being my first single, I honestly, and a lot of people are shocked when I tell them this, but I did not know what I was doing when I recorded that song. My very first single, it was a birthday gift from a few my industry friends that I mentioned earlier, and we recorded it that night, and that's what it was. But the words, it was built off of a story. The song was built off of a story. The creators and the engineers and the other writers that were in the room, they asked, like, when it comes to relationships, how do you feel? And I told them, well, I was married. And so we went into that whole thing. Oh, you were married? Like, how did that go for you? So we just went to talk about certain situations and how it ended, and basically built the story off of my situation. So that's what I want to be able to do. Like, it's definitely flaws and all. Flaws and all most definitely is the song out of all the songs. There's a lot of songs that I have that actually are not out yet, but working on that, and I'm so excited. But I can't say too much about that. But yes, flaws and all is the most relatable one out of all of them, for sure.
So when you go into that studio and record these particular songs, where do you go mentally?
Depending on the song. Well, I won't even say depending on the songs. For me, like I said, I like for my songs to tell stories. I like for my shows to tell stories. I like for everything that I do when I touch the stage, whether it's for kids, whether it's for adults, whether it's for elderly, whomever it's for, I like for everything that I do to tell a story. So that's just it for me. I go to a place of past situations, whether good or bad, depending on what the song is. If I'm writing about heartbreak, obviously I will go to a moment where I had my heartbreak so that I can fully put all of my passion and everything that I have to give for that type of situation or for that type of title. I go back and relate to or try to relive that moment for a little second, not too long, because most of it's pretty sad, but go back to those moments to try to make sure that I'm giving everything that I can into a song. So that's what I do.
How have your songs helped you personally?
Personally, they've helped me a lot. They most definitely have. I keep reverting back to the very first single, Flaws and All. It's just a lot of times where, I've been through a few, like I said, I've been through marriage, been through divorce, a few relationships after that. A lot of friends of mine have gone through heartbreak. Some have, been able to get married and move on to be happy. But it's songs like Flaws and All that I listen to. I listen to it every morning. It's my alarm when I wake up. It's the first song I listen to before I go into my morning worship stuff. Yes. It's just to motivate me and to give me that extra push. Like, a line from the song is, I'm not like the girls in the movies, your typical video girl. I'm more than just body and beauty, so take me as I am. And I feel like every girl or every person in general, like in some way, form, fashion, or another, should be able to relate to that line, just to let the world know, like, I'm not like what we see out here every day, or I'm not like, what everybody else kind of wants me to be. I'm my own being, and I want for everybody around me and that I'm surrounded by to accept me for what and who I am. So definitely that one.
And going back to being obviously a music artist, and this is probably a redundant question, but how do you want the music industry to take you as you are right now?
Honey, listen, they gonna get all of this LaFaye that they can get. For the people that know me, know that I am straight up and down. I don't change. Like, what you see is absolutely what you get. Like I told you in the beginning, open book. My personality is always on 10. I'm always happy, always going. Like, it's rare that people see me upset. And if I have ever been upset, it's because somebody has absolutely pushed me to the edge. But for the most part, I just want to be able to always give that part of me. The personality, the love, the smiles, the welcoming hugs, whatever it is that I normally offer to everybody, that's what I enjoy giving. So,
and Ms. LaFaye, let me ask you, what story do you want to tell next? I know you don't want to give away too much, but what story do you feel from your heart that you want to tell next to the listeners?
Oh, that's good without telling too much. My life for people to know the stories. for people to know what I went through, and for people to know how I came out on top, for people to know, the part that nobody will probably ever know about, the part that, on the other end was not what it actually turned out to be, the lies, the truth. Like, I want to be able to tell every little thing that has basically allowed me to be this woman that I am today. I want to be able to tell the stories that helped me get there, from from my parents' stories, my grandparents' stories, all the way up into my own personal relationships, marriage, failed relationships, successful relationships, broken friendships, successful friendships, dealing with death, learning how to cope, learning how to deal with fake friends, learning how to deal with people who feel like or act like they support you, but they really don't. It's so much in all of that. All of those are a part of the story that I'm telling in this new music.
And I got to go back to the top because obviously, as you know, and I mentioned this, but you're an Army veteran. You're a singer, a songwriter. You have a live band. You have prodigious designs, and of course, you're an interior designer. If you could put that into an album, what would be the title for all of this?
If I could put all of those things into an album, what would I name it? That's a good question. It would probably be, as cliche I feel like it's gonna sound, it would probably be entitled Flawed. Flawed because in all of those things, to even include the new things, I have failed tremendously. But some kind of way I have found myself, even through the midst of the failure, even through the midst of, like so many things happening, I found a way to make the best out of all of those situations. And, in spite of when I have my dark days, or in spite of times when I just don't feel motivated or don't want to do anything, I have to kind of step back and, look at myself, or stand and look at myself in the mirror and just say, like, look, you're not perfect. You are human. Everything is not going to always go right. You do have flaws. Accept those flaws. Learn how to adjust, how to reset, and start all over if you have to. So I think Flawed would be good.
Wow,
I just surprised myself.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did. Well, Miss LaFaye Benton, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor. Such an honor.
Oh, you're very welcome. Anytime.
Yes.